despite all the hype for Shedeur, he's the only quarterback on the Browns who wasn't playing with the ones. Kevin Stefanski said, you go over there and work with the backups and the guys who are, off-season FedEx drivers, who are trying to make an NFL roster. That's your speed, Shedeur. And the more that Kevin Stefanski does this, I think it empowers all the Shedeur guys who are putting on their capes. Say, why isn't he Why is Kenny Pickett getting reps over Shedeur?
Shedeur Sanders was the only quarterback to not take first-team reps during yesterday's OTAs, but y'all heard the offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees, right there saying, look, it's anybody's job. Y'all know if we're talking Shedeur Sanders on this show, buckle up, put your seatbelts on, 10-2, eyes on the road, because it might get spicy. Shady McCoy, you like Shedeur's chances to start week 1?
Shedeur Sanders has been showing out at OTAs, impressing fans and analysts alike with his poise, arm strength, and improved decision-making. But despite his standout performance, Coach Kevin Stefanski has once again snubbed the young quarterback, keeping him out of first-team reps. This surprising move has fans buzzing, and not in a good way. Social media erupted as soon as the news broke. Many are calling out Stefanski for what they see as clear favoritism. The frustration isn't just about Shedeur being overlooked, it's about who is getting the reps. Dillon Gabriel, despite a series of questionable throws and inconsistent practices, continues to get opportunities with the first team while Shedeur watches from the sidelines. So what's really going on in Cleveland? Why is Shedeur being held back? And how much longer will fans stay quiet about what's starting to feel like a pattern?
Look, he's worked his tail off. He's really putting in a lot of work, as all those guys are. But you could tell on the mental side of the game and learning the system and calling it and having that rhythm to it. He's put a lot of work and time and effort into that. And then when you do that, the game starts to slow down and you can focus on finding completion.
Even though Coach Stefanski has publicly acknowledged Shedeur Sanders' relentless work ethic and his determination to rise in the quarterback competition, he still maintains that it's not the right time to elevate him to first-team reps. In a recent press conference, Stefanski stated that he has a clear plan for the preseason, hinting that every decision being made right now is part of a bigger picture. But actions speak louder than words, and the fact that Shedeur hasn't taken a single snap with the first team this late into OTAs raises serious questions. It's starting to look like Stefanski has already made up his mind, and keeping Shedeur out of those crucial reps could be the clearest sign yet that he's not in serious consideration for the starting role, at least not this season.
Franchise quarterback right now. Maybe they didn't feel like he had the right attitude in meetings. Whatever the case may be, we know that Shedeur Sanders now is going into a situation where it will be more difficult. It will be more difficult because he's going into a quarterback room that is very crowded, one that will require distribution of reps to a number of different players.
But what do you think? Is Coach Stefanski really overlooking Shedeur Sanders because he doesn't see him as ready? Or is this all part of a long-term strategy to develop him slowly and unleash him when the time is right? Is the snub a setback or a setup for something bigger down the line? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Coach Stefanski might also be showing some hesitation due to Shedeur Sanders' college background. While Shedeur had an impressive college career, Stefanski seems to believe that the leap from college to the NFL is a significant one and not something to rush. In fact, Tommy Rees has gone on record saying that Shedeur is still adjusting to the NFL environment and that coming straight out of college, he needs more time to settle in. That, according to the coach, is the main reason why he's not placing Shedeur on the first team roster just yet.
Sanders, those guys have all done a really nice job of continuing to work on him fundamentally, and look, playing both sides of the line takes some time and development, but
it's less about talent and more about transition. Yes, at least that's the message being sent. But with fans watching every move, the pressure is mounting. LeSean McCoy didn't hold back either when it came to defending Shedeur Sanders. Taking aim at Tommy Rees, McCoy openly mocked the idea that Shedeur is too young or that he needs time to adapt before earning a real shot. According to McCoy, that narrative just doesn't hold up. He revealed that he's spoken with some of the top players in the league, guys who know what elite talent looks like, and many of them have rated Shedeur as one of the top quarterbacks coming in. McCoy questioned why, despite this insider respect, coaches are still trying to sell the idea that Shedeur needs to learn before he starts. To him, it's not about readiness, it's about reluctance from coaches stuck in their ways. On the other hand, not everyone is sold on Shedeur Sanders just yet. A wave of skepticism continues to follow his rise, with critics quick to remind fans that it's still early. We're talking OTAs, not game day. They argue that solid performances in shorts and no pads don't always translate when the real pressure kicks in. Some have even gone as far as calling Shedeur overrated, suggesting the hype surrounding him is moving faster than his actual NFL resume. Sports commentator Jason McIntyre didn't hold back either. He openly mocked the excitement from those who watched a few of Shedeur's warm-up throws and were ready to label him the league's next breakout star. According to McIntyre, it takes a lot more than a couple of flashy moments to be the man, and he made it clear he thinks all the praise is wildly premature.
And the division that we're seeing is it's massive. The gulf of what you see people saying about Shedeur Sanders, you would think he's ready to start week 1. I mean, you see former NFL quarterbacks on social media breaking down every pass. Oh my gosh, look at the movement in the pocket. Look at that cannon. This is why Shedeur's the man.
McIntyre didn't stop at questioning the hype. He took it even further, aiming his criticism directly at the situation in Cleveland. He mocked the fact that head coach Kevin Stefanski still hasn't given Shedeur Sanders any first-team reps, saying that decision alone shows exactly where Stefanski believes Shedeur belongs. For now, McIntyre went on to ridicule the level. McIntyre also took aim at the draft buzz surrounding Shedeur Sanders, calling all the talk about him being a potential first-round pick complete nonsense. He argued that Shedeur being projected as a 5th rounder by some wasn't disrespect, it was realistic. In McIntyre's view, there's a massive gap between media hype and actual NFL value, and he insisted that Shedeur simply hasn't shown enough to warrant first-round consideration. For him, the idea that Shedeur belongs anywhere near the top of the draft board is just another example of the hype machine running wild, and he didn't hesitate to call it out. But despite the noise, one thing is becoming clearer with every session: Shedeur Sanders isn't going away. The doubters may be loud, but his talent is louder. If he keeps this up, it's only a matter of time before he forces his way into the starting lineup. Amidst all the noise and criticism surrounding Shedeur Sanders, there's still a flicker of hope coming from inside the Browns organization. According to Colin Cowherd, there's growing buzz that team ownership sees Shedeur's potential, both on and off the field, and could be pushing for him to get the starting job as early as the preseason opener. The charisma, the attention, the marketability, Shedeur brings it all, and ownership clearly understands what that could mean for the franchise's future. Still, Cowherd noted that the coaching staff might be leaning in a different direction. With the Browns slated to play a game overseas in London, there's hesitation about throwing a rookie into such a high-pressure spotlight so early. It's a massive stage, and for a young quarterback still adapting to the complexity and speed of the NFL, the coaching staff sees that kind of debut as a real risk.
Haslam's going to come down and say, play Shedeur Sanders, because this is not a great team. So my guess is Joe Flacco wins the starting job. He's the most NFL ready to play. Joe can win you a game or two. And the first 4 weeks, the staff is going to tell him, Shedeur's not ready, Shedeur's not ready. My guess is they go 0-4, maybe they go 1-3. Haslam's going to come down on Sunday, October 5th, and he says, I want Shedeur to play against Minnesota. And the staff's going to say, we're in London, it's rough. Just give us 1 more week. We don't want Shedeur having to go overseas.
Shedeur Sanders' journey with the Browns is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing storylines of the preseason. Despite his impressive showing in OTAs, the ongoing debate around his readiness and the coaching staff's cautious approach highlight just how challenging the transition from college to the NFL can be. While fans and analysts are divided, some calling for him to start immediately and others urging patience, the truth likely lies somewhere in the middle. Ownership clearly sees Shedeur's potential not just as a player, but as a franchise face, which means his opportunity is coming, even if it's not right this second. Ultimately, the veteran Joe Flacco's performance will play a crucial role in determining how soon Shedeur gets his shot, whether he starts early or has to wait. One thing is certain, Shedeur Sanders is a quarterback to watch closely this season, and his story is far from over. The Browns and their fans are holding their breath. What do you think about how the Browns are handling Shedeur Sanders' development? Do you believe he deserves a chance with the first team right now, or is the coaching staff right to take a more patient approach? How much weight should we give to preseason reps and OTAs when evaluating a young quarterback's readiness? And with Joe Flacco still in the mix, who do you think will ultimately win the starting job? Are the critics being too harsh on Shedeur, or is some skepticism justified at this stage? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your take on whether Shedeur is the future of the Browns, or if he still has hurdles to clear before he truly shines.